Welcome to Let's Learn Smart by DrdigitalCollege. It's Dr. Rashid Hashmi explaining the paper for Cambridge Assessment International Examination Biology 5090 for summer 2020 variant 1-2. You know that this is a multiple choice questions paper, MCQ paper, for which we have total 1 hour to solve. Here we may take more than 1 hour because we'll be explaining that why is some answer wrong for some question and while the others are correct. So let's see. In this question, starting with the smallest and ending with the largest, what is the correct sequence of these parts of an organism? A and B both are starting with the chromosome, while C and D are starting with the gene. Genes are smaller things which are the part of chromosomes. So chromosome is a bigger thing, gene is a smaller thing. That's why option A and B are wrong. C and D may be correct. Now, gene is smaller, chromosome is bigger than that, and chromosomes are present inside the nucleus. Both are correct. And the nuclei are present inside the cells. Nuclei are not present in the tissues, and cells are joining to make the tissues, and tissues are not joining to make the cells. So this option is wrong. So D is wrong. The answer for this question should be C. In this question, which movement of a substance in plants is an energy consuming process? When the word energy consuming is there, active transport should come into your mind. In case of A, absorption of carbon dioxide by the palisade cell, and B is absorption of oxygen by mesophilous cells. Both of these options are wrong because gases are absorbed and removed by the cells simply by diffusion process, because cells have to do a lot of gaseous exchange. That's why they are not consuming energy for this process. They are doing these processes by diffusion simple. Nitrates uptake by the root hair cells. Yes, this can be active transport. This can be by diffusion. Sometimes nitrates can be less in the soil. Sometimes nitrates can be more in the soil. Sometimes we need less nitrates, and sometimes plants need a lot of nitrates, for which a quick uptake might be needed. So this process can be energy consuming. While transport of water up through the xylem, this cannot be energy consuming process because xylem is the dead tissue. Okay, so it must not be using energy. So option D is also wrong. Option C is the correct answer for this question. Okay, one thing more with such questions, whenever it's called energy consuming process, they mean to say only ATP energy from respiration. They does not mean any heat energy or some potential energy or other forms of energy, because such energies are also used for diffusion and osmosis process. So when the word energy consumption is mentioned in some question, it means ATP energy. In this question, the diagram shows the movement of water through the part of a leaf. Okay, you know that this is xylem vessel. From here it is going from xylem vessel to the mesophilous cells into the air space, and from air space out of the leaf through stomata, because these are the guard cells. Which processes are involved in the movement of water at these stages? Stage 1 and 2. What is 1 and 2? 1 to 2, this is here. So this can be osmosis, because water is moving from one type of cell to another type of cell. So A is wrong, B is wrong, because they are saying this 1 and 2 is diffusion or evaporation. So both of them are wrong. Okay, 3, 4. Is it diffusion or it is evaporation? So you know that this is the moist layer. From moist layer, this water is moving away of the cell into this air space. Okay, and so this process should be evaporation. Okay, and now here in the air space, these are water vapors. Here water vapors are there, and outside it there are water vapors. So water vapors are moving from air space to the outer atmosphere, from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So this is simple diffusion. So transpiration is occurring from 4 to 5, and transpiration is a diffusion process. So 4, 5 is not evaporation, rather it is diffusion, while 3, 4 is evaporation, because the liquid water is being changed into the water vapors. So the answer for this question should be D. It should not be C. In this question, which substance is an enzyme? Chlorophyll is the photosynthetic pigment. Fibrinogen is blood clotting protein. Insulin is a proteinic hormone. And lipase is enzyme. You know that for most of the enzymes, the name ends with A's. So the answer for this question is D. A, B and C are wrong. In this question, what is the effect of plants of a lack of magnesium ions? You know that magnesium is the part of chlorophylls. So chlorophyll production is reduced. Yes, that is true. Leaves turn dark green. No, when less chlorophyll will be there, leaves will become yellowish. So this is wrong. Starch production increases. No, starch production is the result of photosynthesis. So if chlorophyll will not be there, photosynthesis will be less and starch production will be less. Young leaves will wilt. Wilting process is not because of less chlorophyll, but it can be because of less photosynthesis. And when magnesium ions are not there, photosynthesis will occur less because of less chlorophyll, and turgidity may loss. But that will be indirect effect. The direct effect which can cause the wilting of the leaves is greater water loss. So C and D are the wrong. Chlorophyll production is reduced. That is the direct effect of lack of magnesium ions. So answer for this question is A. In this question, the diagram shows a green plant photosynthesizing under a glass jar. This was used as a control experiment in a laboratory investigation. You know that control experiment is the one whereby every necessity is provided. So you know that in this experiment everything is there. Light is there, water is there, chlorophyll is there because the plants are green, and this is the filter paper and this is water. So carbon dioxide is also there in this atmosphere, which is absorbed by the leaves. Which diagram shows the experiment carried out to investigate the need for carbon dioxide in photosynthesis? So the experiment should be in such a way along with this control experiment whereby carbon dioxide will not be provided. So let's see, it is there in the next. That in experiment A, you know that this is filter paper and sodium hydroxide solution to absorb carbon dioxide. So any carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere of this jar will be absorbed by this one. So to this plant, carbon dioxide will not be available. So this can be the experiment. Okay. So answer for this question is A, but let's see why is B wrong. You know that it is there in the dark, so light is absent. Moreover, we are investigating the effect of absence of carbon dioxide, but here carbon dioxide is present because hydrogen carbonate indicator is not absorbing carbon dioxide. It's just indicating whether carbon dioxide is here or not, it is less or more. So carbon dioxide is available, light is absent. So this is a different experiment. This is not the experiment for the previous control experiment. So B option is wrong. Similarly, in option C, if you look at this, carbon dioxide is there in this atmosphere of the jar, that is available for the leaves, but hydrogen carbonate indicator is there which will not be absorbing carbon dioxide, rather it will be telling that carbon dioxide is present here or not, or what is the concentration of carbon dioxide here. So this is not the experiment, rather it is just similar to the control experiment. So option C is also wrong. In case of option D, it's exactly the same, that oil layer is added here which will inhibit the oxygen to be absorbed by the roots from the atmosphere in the inside this jar, but carbon dioxide is available to the leaves. Okay, so this is also not your experiment. It is almost similar to the control experiment, just the difference is that less oxygen or immediate availability of the oxygen is not there to this stem. And you know that oxygen is needed by the roots, it's not needed by the stem. Stem will be absorbing water simply by transpirational pull. So this oxygen is not needed here. Even if you have applied the oil layer, it will not create any difference. So this is not your experiment. In this question, the graph shows the rate of photosynthesis in a plant in full sunlight at two different temperatures and different concentrations of carbon dioxide. At normal atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations, what limits the rate of photosynthesis? You know that what is the normal atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration? That is 0.03%. Okay, and this will be falling almost at this position, 0.03% carbon dioxide concentration. So you know that when we are increasing carbon dioxide concentration, then the normal concentration in atmosphere, rate of photosynthesis is increasing, and by decreasing carbon dioxide concentration, then 0.03% rate is decreasing. So carbon dioxide is directly affecting the rate of photosynthesis. That's why carbon dioxide is the limiting factor. So answer A is correct. Light intensity cannot be the limiting factor here, because we have not investigated here. Nowhere it is mentioned that what is the light intensity available. So B option is wrong. Similarly, temperature cannot be the limiting factor at this point. Temperature can be the limiting factor at this point when there is saturation of carbon dioxide. So there is less temperature, 20 degrees Celsius is less, so more temperature is needed. But at this point where atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration is there, this even 20 degrees Celsius is sufficient. So temperature is also not acting as the limiting factor. Similarly, water availability cannot be the limiting factor because it is nowhere mentioned here. Okay, so answer for this question is A. In this question, which process happens in the duodenum? The part of small intestine just after the stomach is called duodenum, and bile is formed. You know that bile is formed in liver. It is stored in gallbladder while it is formed in liver. So option A is wrong. Feces are formed. You know that feces are formed in rectum. They are not formed in duodenum. So option B is wrong. Fats are digested by lipase. Okay, lipase is coming from pancreas. Pancreatic juice is having lipase, trypsin and amylase. So fats are digested in the duodenum. So option C is correct. Pancreatic juice lowers the pH. No, pancreatic juice basically raises the pH. The chyme coming from stomach is highly acidic. Its pH is about 2. And the pancreatic juice coming from the pancreas into the duodenum will rise the pH from 2 to 8.6, almost 8.6. So option D is also wrong. The answer for this question is C. In this question, the diagram shows the human alimentary canal. Where do egestion and ingestion occur? So you should know what is meant by egestion and ingestion. Getting rid of unabsorbed or undigested food is called egestion, while intake of the food into the body is called ingestion. So ingestion occurs at mouth, this is, and egestion will occur at anus. Okay, so egestion will be at 0.3, that is correct. A and B both are wrong. 3 is correct, while ingestion will occur at 0.1. So this is C is the correct answer. D is the wrong answer. In this question, the bar chart shows the recommended daily food intake of 4 people. An 80-year-old retired man. You know that retired man will be mostly passive. It will not be he will not be very active person. A male manual worker. 2 characteristics are there. This is a male and this is a manual worker. So he must be using a lot of energy because males have more muscles and he is doing work manually. Okay, and a 6-year-old child, although he will be very active, he or she will be very active, but his or her age is very less, so body mass is small, so the energy need for this child will be for sure less than a male manual worker. A breastfeeding mother, yeah, she is producing milk for her baby, so she will be needing more energy. Which row correctly identifies two of these four people? So for R is using highest energy. This is energy. R is using highest energy. So R should be the male manual work. So just find it that child is U, retired man is R. Retired man cannot be R because that person will be passive person. So option A is wrong. Manual worker is T. T is using less energy, so manual worker cannot be the T, so option B is wrong. Mother is S. Yes, mother can be S. And the manual worker is R. This is the manual worker. Yeah, that is most appropriate thing, that manual worker will need more energy and the breastfeeding mother would need less energy than that, but more than a little child and a retired old person. The retired man is R. Once again, this is wrong. Retired man cannot use too much of energy as compared to the others. So option D is wrong. So the answer for this question is C. In this question, water and ions can reach the xylem of a plant root through cell wall without passing through a cell membrane. How do these substances move through the cell wall? Okay, you know that for the movement of the water, is the term used is osmosis, but only if it will be passing through some partially permeable membrane. As it is moving through the cell wall is not partially permeable, so option C and D are wrong. Water will be diffusing here, so A can be correct, B can be correct. Okay, and the ions can reach the xylem through the root through cell wall. Okay, ions are passing through the cell wall. They will also be doing diffusion because cell wall is a dead thing, dead chemical. It cannot have ATP energy, so active transport is not possible, and movement of ions cannot be described by osmosis. So the answer for this question will be A. B will be wrong here. In this question, the photomicrograph shows part of a section through a root. The contents of Y are tested with the Benedict solution and with the iodine solution. Which results are expected? So first of all, you should know that what can be the Y. Okay, Y is the xylem. This area is for xylem. If you look at this is almost star shape. This is xylem area, while this area is for phloem, this area is for phloem, this area is for phloem, and in between the star this is phloem. So if Y is xylem, then through xylem what can be passing? Water and the mineral salts. So Benedict test is for the reducing sugar, while iodine test is for starch. So there cannot be starch, there cannot be reducing sugar. So answer for this question is D. A is wrong because it is telling that some reducing sugar is present. B is wrong because it is telling some reducing sugar is present. C is wrong because it is telling that some starch is present. In this question, the diagram shows a section through the heart. Okay, and which two numbered parts contain oxygenated blood? You know that left side of the heart contains oxygenated blood. This is here oxygenated and this is here oxygenated blood. This will be overall area deoxygenated. So oxygenated blood is coming here through pulmonary vein from the lungs and it is going towards body through aorta. So 3 and 4 numbers will be having oxygenated blood. So answer for this question is D, while C is wrong because 2 is the pulmonary artery. It cannot have oxygenated blood. B is wrong because 2 and 3, 2 is once again pulmonary artery. It cannot have oxygenated blood because this right side of the heart has deoxygenated blood. A is wrong. 1 and 2 both are having deoxygenated blood. In this question, which blood vessel contain valves? You know that valves are present only in veins. They are not present in artery. They are not present in the capillary. So this B option is not having valves in capillary and the artery. So the answer for this question is B. A is wrong because capillary cannot have the valve. C is wrong because capillary and artery cannot have the valve. D is wrong because the renal artery cannot have the valve. In this question, which chamber of the heart would be the first to receive nicotine absorbed into the blood in the lungs of a cigarette smoker? You know that blood is coming from the lungs through pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein is coming into left atrium. Left atrium, and then from left atrium to left ventricle and then to the body. So we will write that A option is correct, left atrium. Left ventricle will come after left atrium. Right atrium is wrong because body is giving blood, deoxygenated blood is coming not from the blood, and similarly right ventricle will be wrong. So answer for this question is A. In this question, during which activity is anaerobic respiration most likely to occur? Breathing, we are all the time breathing, but we are not doing anaerobic respiration all the time. So option A is wrong. Sleeping, this is very low metabolic activity time. So we are not doing anaerobic respiration, we are doing only aerobic respiration. Sprinting 100 meters. You know that 100 meters sprint is the fast race. So there can be severe oxygen deficiency and anaerobic respiration can start. So C option can be correct. While walking to the school, walking is also not a strenuous activity. So our lungs are sufficiently providing oxygen while walking. So anaerobic respiration is not possible. So D option is also wrong. So answer for this question is C. In this question, which structure is lined with the cilia? Alveoli. Alveoli have cilia or not? No. Alveoli have very smooth wall for the gaseous exchange. So option A is wrong. Bronchus. Yes, bronchus can have cilia because they have the cilia because mucus and the trapped dust particles, they are to be swept away. That's why bronchus have the cilia. That is correct. Esophagus. Esophagus is a smooth pipe because it is just for the passage of food. So no cilia are there. So option C is also wrong. Small intestine. Small intestine is not having cilia, but it has villi. Villi cannot be similar to that of cilia. So option D is also wrong. So answer for this question is B. In this question, the graph shows changes in the volume of a person's lungs over a period of 2 minutes. You know that volume is from 1.8 to 2.7 like this, and after X it's suddenly increasing, and from X to Y, after X till Y it is increasing, and up to 2 it is decreasing. Now then the graph is telling us like this. What could cause the change in the pattern of the graph between X and Y? Means at X some strenuous exercise or strenuous activity is about to start, and then it is started, then the lung volume is increased. The person is deeply breathing, deep breath in, deep breath out. So changing from running to walking. So this is decrease in activity. This cannot increase the breathing depth. Changing from walking to running, yes, this is the strenuous activity. This can be possible that when the person is walking, this lung volume is less, but when the person will start running, the lung volume will increase. Decreased frequency of contraction of internal intercostal muscles. No, this is not possible. Okay. And decreased strength of the contraction of internal intercostal muscles. If the strength will decrease, deep breathing is not possible. For deep breathing, a powerful contraction of intercostal muscles is needed. So this is also wrong. Answer for this question is B. In this question, the diagram shows the human kidney and their associated structures. What is the structure labeled X? Labeled X structure is coming from the kidney and is going to the urinary bladder. So this is ureter. So answer C is correct. This is not renal artery. This is not renal vein, because this is renal artery. This is renal vein. These are renal artery and vein. And urethra, this is urethra. So ureter is wrong. Ureter is the correct answer. So answer for this question is C. In this question, which of these statements describes control by negative feedback? Okay, an injury to the body tissue activates platelets in the blood, and these activated platelets release chemicals which activate more platelets. So activation is causing more activation. This is not negative feedback. This can be the positive feedback, because here the result of a process is increasing the process. So this is positive feedback. This cannot be the negative feedback. During the menstrual cycle, luteinizing hormone stimulates the release of estrogen, which in turn stimulates the release of more LH. So LH is doing some process. The result of that process is increasing the secretion of LH. That is once again positive feedback. This is not the negative feedback. Negative feedback will be when the result will inhibit the process itself. A higher concentration of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increases temperature, which increases photosynthesis, producing more carbon dioxide. You know that photosynthesis cannot produce more carbon dioxide. So this option is once again wrong. When blood pressure is high, nerve impulses from brain causes blood vessels to dilate and the blood pressure is reduced. Okay, so high blood pressure is causing vasodilation, which will result in low blood pressure. The result of this process is it is cancelling the effect. Means the result of this process is inhibiting the process. Means high blood pressure is the start. The result is vasodilation. The vasodilation is inhibiting high blood pressure. So this is the negative feedback. So answer for this question is D. In this question, which structures does light pass through when it is focusing on the retina? Cornea, lens, and the sclera. You know that sclera is the part of the eye white where there is no cornea. The white part of the eye it is. Okay, so it will pass through the cornea, it will pass through the lens, but not through sclera. So option A is wrong. Option C is wrong because it is telling that it's not passing through the lens. Option D is wrong because it's telling that it will not pass through the cornea. Cornea is the front transparent part of your eye, so the light must pass through it. So answer for this question is B. In this question, where are receptors found? Along the length of all neurons? No, all the neurons cannot have the receptors because neurons can be the relay or the motor neurons. At both ends of the relay neuron? No, relay neurons are not attached with the receptors. At one end of the motor neuron? No, motor neurons are attached with the effectors and the relay neurons. At one end of the sensory neuron? Yes, that is true, because sensory neurons are attached with the receptors on one end and with relay neurons on the other end. So answer for this question is D, while C, B and A are wrong. In this question, the diagram shows a section through human brain. Okay, which part senses and reacts to the change in blood temperature? You know that A is cerebrum and B is the front part of the cerebrum, almost the same, while D is cerebellum. This is for the balance. C is for the memory and voluntary actions, while A is hypothalamus. This is the osmoregulatory center of our body. So blood temperature is sensed at the hypothalamus, that is A. So B is wrong, C is wrong, and D is wrong. Answer for this question is A. In this question, the diagram shows the bones of the human forearm. What are the bones X and Y? You know that X is scapula or shoulder blade, which is just behind your shoulder. So X is scapula. So C can be correct, D can be correct, A and B are wrong. While Y is ulna, it cannot be the radius. This smaller one is radius. This is radius 1, while this is ulna, because ulna is the bigger bone. So where it is radius, C is wrong, D is the correct answer because it is telling that Y is ulna. In this question, when a mother smokes during pregnancy, the oxygen supply to the fetus is reduced. Which row shows how components of tobacco smoke cause this? Combine with hemoglobin? Yes, carbon monoxide will combine with hemoglobin. So A can be correct, B can be correct, C and D are wrong because tar is not joining with hemoglobin. Constrict the blood vessels in the umbilical cord. Tar is causing cancer. It is not causing the constriction of the blood vessels. Nicotine is vasoconstrictor. So this is correct answer. B is wrong. So answer for this question is A. In this question, the diagram shows some apparatus set up to produce alcohol by fermentation. You know that alcohol is produced by the yeast in anaerobic conditions. What is the purpose of the oil layer? Oil will inhibiting any oxygen to get into it. This process is inhibited by the oil layer. To keep the alcohol in solution? No, it is not the purpose of the oil. To prevent aerobic respiration? Yeah, that is true. We have to prevent oxygen to go into it. So B is correct, A is wrong. C is not correct because to produce carbon dioxide, oil is not producing any oxygen or carbon dioxide. C is wrong. D is wrong because to provide nutrient for the yeast, though no nutrients are there inside it. This is the area where nutrients are present. So D is wrong. So answer for this question is B. In this question, the diagram shows the equipment used in the industrial production of the penicillin. What is the purpose of the structure X? You know that this is structure X. This is the water jacket. Basically, water is getting into it and water is getting out of it. So it is for the maintenance of the temperature of this biofermenter. Okay, A is telling that to insulate fermentation vessel. Basically, this is not for the insulation. This is for the removal of the heat. So A option is wrong. To maintain the pressure of the fermentation vessel. No, it has nothing to do with the internal environmental pressure of this biofermenter. So B is wrong. C is to monitor the temperature of the fermentation vessel. Monitoring of the temperature is not the job of this condenser. Basically, this is removing heat. Sensor is something else. So X is not the sensor. Sensor will monitor the temperature. D is to remove the heat produced by the fermentation process. You know that fermentation process is respiration. So it must be producing some heat. So the removal of heat is the job of this water flow. So option D is correct. So answer for this question is D. In this question, the diagram shows a food chain, aquatic plant to tadpole to small fish to birds. Which group of organisms is missing from this food chain? Carnivores. This is the carnivore. Small fish is carnivore. So A is wrong. Decomposers. Nowhere decomposers are there. So option B can be correct. Herbivore. Tadpole is the herbivore already present. So C option is wrong. D producer. Aquatic plant is the D producer. So D option is wrong. So answer for this question is B. In this question, insects feed on a tree leaves. The insects are eaten by small birds that are the prey of larger birds. Which pyramid of numbers illustrates this food chain? You know that this is a tree. So single tree is there. This B can be correct, C can be correct because this is a single tree shown here. D is wrong because the base is very broad. A is wrong because the base is very broad. Okay, now on one tree there are small birds. Small birds must be more in number than the tree. So they are here more, they are here more. Both B and C can be correct. Now the small birds are the prey of larger birds. Larger birds must be less in number than the small birds. If they have to feed on small birds, they should be less in number. Okay, so they are more in number. So this is wrong, while this is less in number. That is correct. So option B is wrong. So the answer for this question is C. In this question, the diagram shows the parts of the nitrogen cycle. Which arrow represent the action of the root nodule bacteria of leguminous plants? You know that bacteria in the root nodules, they are fixing nitrogen. Any nitrogen gas present in the soil coming inside the roots is fixed into amines. Okay, so nitrogen gas is nitrogen containing green plants. So this is A process, is nitrogen fixation process. This is the job of bacteria in the nodules. Nitrates are converted into nitrogen containing green plants. This is simple absorption process. So this is not the job of nodule bacteria. So D option is wrong. Nitrites are changed into nitrates. This is nitrification process. This is the job of nitrifying bacteria which are not present in the root nodules. They are present free in the soil. They are aerobic bacteria. So option C is wrong. What is the B? Decaying remains are converted into ammonia and ammonium compounds. This is petrification, decomposition or ammonification process. This is once again the job of decomposer bacteria but not the job of bacteria in root nodules. So option B is also wrong. So answer for this question is A. In this question, which row shows the malarial parasite and the vector involved in its transmission? You know, the parasite for malaria is the malarial pathogen. Female mosquito is not the parasite, human is not the parasite, and male mosquito has nothing to do with malaria. Only malarial pathogen is the parasite and the vector is mosquito malarial. Malarial mosquito is the vector. Anopheles mosquito, female of Anopheles mosquito is the vector for this. So answer for this question is C. In this question, which pollutants may be released by the agricultural wastes? Insecticides, yes, we are spraying insecticides, so they can be released. So option D is wrong because they are saying no pesticides. Methane, yes, methane can be released because when the dead organic matter, the leaves, the cow dungs, they are decomposed, they are releasing methane. So A and B can be correct. C will be wrong because it's saying no methane is there. Fertilizers, yes, fertilizers are used. So whenever there will be the rainfall or more watering to the plants, then fertilizers will be washed away. So that is true. Option B is wrong because it is saying that no fertilizers are there. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is basically produced by the burning of the fossil fuels. So in most of the agricultural practices, fossil fuels are not directly being burnt or negligible, or it may not be, at least. Means if we are not using any machinery where some fossil fuels are being used, and then sulfur dioxide will not be released. So option A is correct. The answer for this question is A. In this question, the diagram shows a section of a seed. What are the numbered parts? 1. 1 is plumule. So this A is wrong because 1 is not cotyledon. D is wrong because this is not radical. B and C can be correct because 1 is plumule. 2 is the radical. So here it is told that 2 is the cotyledon. So B is wrong. C answer is correct one. Moreover, the 3 is cotyledon. Yes, this is the biggest part is the cotyledon. So answer for this question is C. In this question, which statement about meiosis are correct? Meiosis produce genetically identical nuclei? No, they are not producing genetically identical nuclei. So option C and D are wrong because they are telling that they are producing genetically identical nuclei. This is not produced by meiosis. Okay, meiosis produces haploid nuclei. Yes, meiosis is producing haploid nuclei. So option A is wrong. The answer for this question is B. In this question, the spread of HIV has been reduced in many countries. Which action has assisted this reduction? Development of an effective vaccine. We have not yet developed any effective vaccine against HIV. So option A is wrong. Health education. Yes, health education can reduce the transmission of HIV, because if we are using preventive measures such as condoms, femidums during sexual activity, then the transmission of HIV can be inhibited. Similarly, if we are using the personal hair cutting tools, or you could say we are using sterilized equipments for the surgery and dentistry, then transmission of HIV can be reduced. So health education might be the answer for this. Treating the patients with new antibiotics. HIV is a virus, it cannot be treated with the antibiotics. So option C is wrong. Using drugs that slow the appearance of the symptoms of HIV. Yes, the HIV symptoms appearance can be reduced by the use of drugs, but it will not inhibit or it will not reduce the transmission. So option D is also correct. So the answer for this question is A. In this question, the diagram shows the female reproductive system. In which parts are the eggs and the zygote formed? You know that eggs are formed in the ovary. So B is the ovary. Eggs are formed in ovary. C and D option might be correct, and A and B are wrong. Where is the zygote formed? Zygote formed in the first 1/3 part of the oviduct or the fallopian tube in A. Zygote is not formed in C because this is uterus. Here the fetus is developed. So option C is correct while D is wrong. So the answer for this question is C. In this question, what describes the features of the natural selection? Causes mutations to happen? Yes, causes mutations to happen. When natural selection is there, mutations can cause natural selection, but natural selection cannot cause mutations. Okay? Means for the process of natural selection, there can be mutations, but natural selection will not cause the occurrence of mutation. So option A, B and C all are wrong. Mutations are not caused by the natural selection, but mutation will cause the natural selection. That is true. Means if you will see this reverse way. Leads to the evolution of new species. Yes, evolution of new species can be there. Result in the extincting species becoming extinct. Existing species becoming extinct. Yes, already existing species, they may become extinct because they may be changed into new species or some other species overcome them. So that is true. This is also true. So the answer for this question is D. In this question, a farmer causes sperm from a black male sheep to artificially inseminate, fertilize 20 light brown female sheeps. All of the offsprings produced were black. So black is mated with the brown while all offsprings are black. Okay, it means black is dominant over brown. Which statement explains these results? The allele for light brown color are dominant. No, this is not true, because if it was dominant, it should appear in the offsprings in this generation. The male sheep is heterozygous and the allele for black color is dominant. We do not know that which one is male, whether male is heterozygous or homozygous. We don't know about it, and this test is also not telling us whether it is dominant or it is heterozygous or it is homozygous. Okay, and In this case, the male sheep is homozygous and the allele for black color is dominant. Once again, we do not know that whether the male is homozygous or it is heterozygous. The male sheep is homozygous and the allele for black color is dominant. The allele for black color is dominant, that is appearing here because this is appearing in all the offsprings. Black color is appearing in all offsprings. Male sheep can be homozygous because if the male sheep was heterozygous, then black and brown should both appear in the offsprings. Okay, we can make a cross here. If, say for example, if it is heterozygous and it is crossed with small b, the brown, this is brown, okay, and this is black heterozygous, then the offsprings will be capital B small b and small b. Expected ratio 1:1, or at least some brown offsprings should be produced if it was heterozygous. So the male sheep is homozygous and the allele for black color is dominant. So the answer for this question is D. While why is B wrong? The male sheep is heterozygous. This is not indicated by this graph, by this genetic cross. So B is wrong. The male sheep is homozygous and the allele for black color is codominant. If it was codominant, then the color intermediate of black and brown should appear in the offspring. So this codominance is not present in this case. So the answer for this question is D. In this question, the inheritance of ABO blood groups in humans is controlled by three alleles, IA, IB and IO, only two of which can be present in one individual. What are the possible blood groups of the children born to homozygous group A? This is IA, women. This is the women. And a heterozygous group B, man. IB, IO, this is heterozygous male. Now you can see that this will always be giving IA to the gamete. This can give IB or IO, these two gametes. So the blood groups can be IA, IB or it can be IA, IO. So the blood groups that can appear, they are AB and A. AB and A, option B is correct. A is telling AB and B. B cannot be produced because the mother is homozygous for blood group A. This is wrong. C is wrong because once again A, B and AB all cannot be produced because for the formation of this blood group A, there should be A from mother and O from father. For the blood group B, there should be IO from the mother and IB from the father, but IO is not present with the mother, so this cannot be formed. So C is wrong. D is wrong. Once again, B blood group is formed, so this is wrong. So B blood group is here, that cannot be formed. So A, C and D are wrong. The answer for this question is B. In this question, which statement is always true of the dominant allele? We know that dominant alleles are expressing themselves always. They cannot undergo mutation. No, any allele can undergo mutation, whether it is recessive or dominant. They give a greater chance of survival than recessive alleles. It's not so. Sometimes dominant alleles are disease causing, such as Huntington's disease allele is the dominant allele, but it is causing disease. It's not giving greater chance of survival. So B is wrong. They give the same phenotype in heterozygous and homozygous condition. Yes, that is true. Whether someone is capital B, it is black, or someone is capital B, small b, it will be black. The same black will be there whether it is homozygous or heterozygous. So C can be correct. They occur less frequently in the population than recessive alleles. Once again, the frequency is not related with recessive or the dominant allele, rather it is related with its adaptation to the environment. So this D option is wrong. The answer for this question is C.